You can download it, take it off after.
Okay.
I don't know if I have enough in the cloud. That's why.
That's fine. That's fine. We're adding your otter thing. Just a second before we go live. Okay. And okay, now we're ready to go live. Ready to go live?
Yep.
All right. I'm sorry. Let me just quick. I just want to change one setting. Hold on.
Okay. Hey, we are live
Okay,
on LinkedIn. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
We're about to. Okay, here we go. And ready, go. And,
Woo! Okay.
hey, we're live. Okay, welcome everybody to the Power of Connection chat. My name is Bobby Umar. I'm here with my co-host Carmelia Ray. Hey, Carmelia, how are you?
I'm great. I'm just trying to get this shared on Clubhouse and Wisdom and all the other apps that we're doing. So we really want to get our message and these tips out there.
Awesome. Well, yeah, so this is great. So what we're doing here, we're multi-streaming. So we're streaming on LinkedIn Live. It's also streaming on Facebook. It's also streaming on Twitter. And now Carmelia is adding Clubhouse. So we're trying to integrate all of this and we'll see how it works. But that's the power of partnerships, right? We're collaborating, partnering in different spaces and with different people, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm very, very excited about that. If you are joining this, we are every week at Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern, and you can comment. We'd love to get you engaged in the comments. So if you're on Clubhouse, get on stage and ask questions. If you're in LinkedIn Live, put your comments below. Tell us where you're from. Share the question about what we're going to talk. We're actually going to talk about the questions you need to ask yourself when you're entering into any sort of partnership, because we have lots of partnerships, whether it's partnership with a platform, whether it's partnership with a person, personal partnership, a professional partnership, a partnership with a business entity. Like I do partnerships all the time. In fact, most recently I've been getting into partnerships and collaborators with NFT, the NFT space. So learning about
I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, Bobby. So I mean, being able to do all that stuff is really important. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what are the questions you should ask when you're trying to put together a partnership. And so with that, let me just start by introducing myself. My name is Bobby Umar. I am a professional speaker by trade for the past 15 years, traveling around the world, delivering 1,000 keynotes and workshops across 4 continents. I'm a 5-time TEDx speaker. I'm an Inc. Magazine Top 100 Leadership Speaker. And during the pandemic, I transitioned to doing more work in coaching and online programs and virtual keynotes. But I'm also a social audio advocate. So I've been doing a lot of work on Clubhouse, a lot of work on Twitter Spaces and LinkedIn Audio. And so that's another area of my expertise that I love to talk about, which has also led to lots of partnerships. And I'm a social media influencer too. I have like 650,000 followers across different platforms, and I certainly love to share my message. But my main message really is about thought leadership branding, helping executives and teams and business leaders leverage thought leadership branding and the skills like storytelling, relationship building, content creation, mindset, confidence, public speaking to take their brand that next level. That's what I'm doing, working with teams, working with individual clients. With that, I'll leave to Carmelia to introduce herself.
Yes, thank you. I'm fumbling around here. This is what happens when you collaborate with someone like Bobby, who we literally just have this conversation. I trust him. I know he's an expert on LinkedIn. We've co-moderated a number of rooms on the Clubhouse app. Right now we're live on Wisdom. We are live on Clubhouse, but I do want to pin that link for the Clubhouse community so they can join us in this powerful partnerships. And you're literally witnessing that. I'm a celebrity matchmaker, relationship expert. I've been in the dating and relationship business now for 30 years. It'll be my 31st year. And as a result of working with so many single professionals, and I've now sort of narrowed down the people who I work with as C-level executives, entrepreneurs, influencers, those who are making big impact, and helping them find love and powerful partnerships and connections. So this was just such an easy flow from me and Bobby to work together. And by the way, how we're collaborating, I'm not going to recommend that for people in partnerships because, we just vibe and we know each other. So it's really great that we're going to help you guys talk about the questions that you should ask when considering a partnership. So Bobby, with that, I will let you lead maybe one of the first questions or things that you're thinking about before you agree to go into partnership with someone. So I'm going to hand that to you.
Well, let me start by telling a story. Okay, so let's talk about, I love to tell stories to kind of exemplify the point of what I'm trying to do. So One of the earliest stories of my life was I was doing a musical theater show. So I'm a performer and I was in a show, and the show was run really terribly. I was really annoyed by how it was run. I was like, God, the scripts are late and the direction's really bad and they don't have the costumes. And I was talking to the musical director, and he said, well, what would you do if you would run a thing? Well, I would do this and this and this and this and this. And he's like, you know what? I like the sound of that. Maybe we should do something on our own. I'm like, what? Okay. Tell me more about you. Like,
Maybe
what
you
did
should
you
do. Maybe you should do what?
maybe we should do our own thing in a musical theater production. I was like, oh, okay, well, I don't really know you. Tell me more about yourself. And so I started to get to know him over a couple of weeks. And
Got
then
it.
two weeks later, I was like, you know what? After the show is over, I think that'll be a good idea. So what do we do now? Well, let's figure out how this partnership is going to work. So we laid down a couple of things we want to do. Like we kind of had a vision, like what do we want to see? What do we want in our theater company that's different than other sucky ones we've been in? And we kind of had a vision for ourselves. And then after I did that, I basically, so we started talking to people in the cast and production. Here's what we're thinking about doing next, because the company we were in, they only did one show per year. And so we said, okay, they're going to be done their show in May. We want to do something this summer. Are you interested in joining us? And next thing you know, we launched our partnership. We launched a theater company, and it was a heck of a lot of fun. And did that for 4 years. We grew that from the two of us to 150 people in about 4 years. And it was just an amazing
Okay.
experience. But, talking to each other and visioning what we want to do, getting to know each other, building that trust, these are all part of the journey to forming a partnership that would do well and would thrive. And so that's the
Yeah.
story.
So I love that story. And I think one of the takeaways for me is this guy liked you. He said, "Hey, we should do something together." And now that's the first thing is approach. I like to say when you're approaching somebody that already has an established brand or established company, I probably wouldn't just come out and say, "Hey, we should do," like that was kind of like a conversational type thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay to lead that way, but once you actually agree to do something, because your first reaction was, well, I don't know this guy, so let me do my research, right? So if you are being approached for partnership and do not know anything about the company, the brand, the person, I'm always going to say do your research, right? It's kind of like if I'm at a coffee shop, and I'm going to relate it to dating because we're talking about powerful partnerships here. And if a guy comes up to me and say, "Can I go out to coffee with you?" I'm like, let me see your LinkedIn.
Right.
Yeah, let me see your dating profile, right? Like, I'm gonna have some qualifiers before I even entertain the idea of going into partnership. So the other thing is, I believe you really both have to be aligned, and you've got to share that same vision. So one person's vision may not be the same as someone else's vision,
Right.
right? So I think it really has to be clear that you both map out what's the desired outcome for this partnership, and how long do you want to invest in seeing if it's a good fit for one another. Because the last thing you want to do, especially in early partnership, I would set out terms or sort of a trial period if it's a new partnership. But
Yeah.
if it's someone that I've known for any like length of time, and it depends on the kind of partnership. Are you going to need to do legal? Is it something like a handshake, like we're doing this room? I'm not
Right.
going to sue you, Bobby, if you don't show up next Monday. I'll just run the room without you. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
what are those terms and agreements? So yeah, anything else that would come to mind in terms of what questions you would ask?
Well, I mean, I think I think the first question I would ask people is, why do you want to do this? Why do you think we'd be a good fit together? Because I want to see what their take is. How they see me is different than how I see me, right? So
Got it.
I want to know what they think, because they may think of something else that I bring to the table that maybe I can't do. Like, for example, I mean, us, and going back to the whole idea, like there are sometimes you'll jump in a partnership when there's an established trust, an established brand. Like, for example, I've known you for many years. You're my friend. We've dined together. We
Yeah.
eat breakfast together, and we've
We
had.
lost weight
That's
together. We
right.
did a
That's
weight
right.
loss challenge
That's
together. Yeah,
right. So
yeah,
we've done a
yeah.
lot of stuff together, and you also have a wicked, kick-ass brand in Clubhouse, and so I think you're awesome. And so when you say you want to do a part, yeah, I'm diving right in because I'm totally cool with that. But we also had, but we did actually, have the storming, norming of, is that okay? What's the title? What are we going to do? Like, how are we going to plan it all out? So I want to ask this question. Sometimes what happens is you'll find something that they think that you're going to do or you're good at. You're like, no, no, whoa, I can't do that. So like, for
Right.
example, if you said to me, and actually we had this conversation about, so tell me about how the Restream copy code and the technology. Like, oh, I was like, Carmelia, I'm not a tech guy. Oh, no, no, no. I cannot do that. And so I make it very
Yeah, and
clear
you
that
know what? You were clear and you didn't try to pretend that
right.
you knew the tech. You're like, I
Yeah,
have a team for that, right? So don't count on me for tech. We're both like creative people and we're both great at copy because you're in the personal branding space. I'm pretty proficient at tech, but like you, if I can hire someone to do it or someone knows it better than I can, then I don't want to spend my time learning the platform, right? Which
yeah,
is why we're doing this, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Part of our objective, and we already have a future plan, we're doing this LinkedIn live stream. Bobby's already great at that, but we both want to invest more and explore LinkedIn audio. So once this show's done, we're going to take this show over to LinkedIn audio, but we're establishing a partnership together and a
right.
brand of what we're going to be talking about, and then leveraging audio later. So that was another thing that you and I talked about, is like, where do we see ourselves, like literally
Longer
30
term.
days from now, longer
Yeah,
term, whatever, right? So you identifying sort of strengths and weaknesses, like knowing what each partner can do and can't do. And you know, Bobby, I think it's important to say what each partner wants to do.
right,
Like I might be able to do it, but I don't want to do it. And
right.
so I don't want you to force me to have to do stuff I don't want to do.
Yeah, and I'll give a good example of that where I have a very very large network, and so whenever I collaborate with people, they often want me to leverage my network. Hey, can you send out messages to these 10, 20 people? And I'm like, you know what? Look, I don't mind doing that, but I can't do that for every partnership. There's certain
Right.
partnerships where I'm willing to leverage my network or my influence, my connection to thought leaders and experts and whatnot. But other times I'm not willing to do that. So I make that very clear, like because everyone asks, because they definitely see me as someone who has a large network. And so will you leverage it? And I was like, look, I'm happy to promote you, use my Twitter muscle to promote you and stuff, but I can't really make introductions to 20 people. Maybe I'll give you one
Sure.
or two. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's an
yeah.
example where I say, but other times I'll say, no, I'm happy to use my network because I think it's going to be a long-term thing. So I always make that clear. And the other question I asked too is, to your point, what's the timeline of this? Are we looking to a 3-month partnership or 3 years or beyond? Are we making
Yes.
this a long-term goal? Because if it is, I want to have the answer to that question, because I want to work with people that are committed, not people who are going to fade away in a month or two. Because most people, and I'll share this statistic, which I shared last week. Okay, 80% of the people I have a conversation about partnership or collaboration or whatever it might be, I end up giving them the follow-up message. I put the ball in their court. I'm always big on doing that. And then 80% of them never say anything. It's gone. It fades away.
No way.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I made the 20, I'm top 20%. Woohoo!
All
Good
right.
for me. I'm in the top 20% of Bobby Umar's partnerships. Yeah, that's really cool. You know, Bobby, the other thing that I would ask somebody is I want to ask them what their other partnerships are like.
Right.
Have they entered partnerships before? Are they totally new to this? Do they bring some experience to the table? If they did have a partnership, what happened to that partnership? Why did it work? Why didn't it work? And I'm not going to necessarily say no to a partnership that didn't work, because maybe there was something that was out of that person's control. Now, here's my pivot on the personal side of partnerships.
Sure.
Just like you would ask these kinds of questions, I'm going to ask the same questions to a romantic partner. First of all, I'm going to say this a lot in our future shows. Sheryl Sandberg, she's the COO of Facebook. She says, who you choose to marry is the most important career choice you make, because that's going to make or break your health, your life, your well-being, your sleep, your
Yeah.
stress levels, right? And so when I'm going to enter a partnership, same thing. How long are we in this for, Bobby? Are we doing this for life? Are you my friends with benefits? Is this just convenient for the summer? Like, what are we doing here? And then we're going to match our compatibilities. Very similar thing. Do we have similar interests? Do we like each other? What are your strengths and weaknesses? And what can I bring to the table? So you're kind of assessing whether or not we're going to be fit as romantic partners in a very similar way that you are going to screen people who are going to be your professional partners.
Yeah, that makes me think of the fact that, do I like you? Do I
Yeah.
like spending time with you? Because you're gonna spend a lot of time with this person. And if you don't, like, man, it's not, you don't want to get in those relationships where like, man, I don't want to spend time with this person, right? And so
Oh,
that to
that's so.
me, yeah, yeah, and I see there's people listening in on the conversation. There's
Oh
people
yeah.
listening.
Are there
Hi
questions?
there, Angelique. So this is such a good topic. And Angelique actually adds, doesn't matter how long you've known a person, it is a different dynamic, different challenges, and often people behave differently under the concept of being in a partnership, like a professional partnership. That's really interesting because yeah, there are people that it changes. Even in marriage,
Are
like
you
even,
talking about marriage now, or are you talking
no, both.
about business? I know.
Yeah, yeah, we're talking about
I
both
know
because like the
that.
people change, right? As soon as you get that commitment piece, that people start to share more about who they are, and you're like, okay, you know what? I didn't realize that you were like this, and so now things have changed. So I've been with partners where I'm like, you know what? This is not going the way I want, and you're not what you said you would be or what I thought it was going to be. So I need to like exit this thing. And so
Yeah,
um, another
very
question,
important.
another question to ask is, if this doesn't work, how
The
are you going to feel
exit
about it? What's our
strategy.
exit strategy?
Yes. Yes. That's like, you know what? You want to talk about the exit strategy from an unanticipated, unexpected, or intentional exit strategy. That's one. And I'm actually doing a space with Robert Hanna in the future on a prenups. So we're talking about entering a marriage and then talking about the exit plan, right? So that's going to be something that's really cool. And when you said exit strategy, the other one is, what is your exit strategy as it pertains to either going public, being bought out? Like when you're thinking that specific in partnership, you might not agree to how you want to manage those funds, how you want to disperse those funds, who you want to exit to, what's your lowest selling price, what's the highest, like highest, who knows, but like what's your bare minimum. The other thing is, what if one partner wants to exit the partnership before the term is up? So I think those are all so important questions, Bobby.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And again, if you are enjoying the conversation and you want to ask questions of me and Carmelia around partnerships, there's lots of ways to do it. You can send a DM via Clubhouse. You can actually go on the LinkedIn live stream and you can actually put your question below. You can even tweet me. We have everything live. I got the Twitter over there. I got the live stream here, and we got Carmelia here. So we have some really really awesome stuff about asking questions before you get into a partnership.
Yes.
So
Okay.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Oh no,
I
I was gonna say, what's the next question you want to delve
Yeah,
into?
yeah. I think one of the other questions I would ask, and again, I'm going to do professional then personal, is how much time do each of you have to invest in this
Right.
partnership?
Yes.
And I'm
Commitment.
talking like sometimes it is not equal. And let's talk about in cases where if somebody cannot put in the time or isn't putting in that time as agreed, what's the fallback? How do you compensate? What are you going to do in those cases? Because Bobby, I was really transparent with you as you were with me, the limited amount of time to invest in like random conversation and whatnot, right? We
Yeah.
are doing this with intention. And Bobby and I actually have plans to launch another show specifically on a topic. I don't want to say it yet because I'm excited about it. We were going to talk about something, a business context together, but we wanted to do this first and see what our dynamic was like. So, and I shared I'm good to do an hour a week. And you know what, Bobby, if one week I'm going to be in a seminar or I'm going to be in middle of travel, those are things that we want to let our audience know in advance.
Right.
Or you bring in a guest. It's our show. So if you are my male counterpart and you're not there, I may invite somebody else to the show. And I would love for you to, we're talking about this now because we haven't yet.
Yeah.
I would love for you to, if I'm not there, you bring on a guest to take my place, right? Because I'm cool with that. But that's the one of the things that I would talk about is the time that you both going to have. Pivoting to relationships, same type thing. Entrepreneurs have a different schedule than 9 to 5ers. And by the way, entrepreneurs aren't less available. Sometimes they're even busier than somebody who has a job. I was just speaking with a client and she was sharing with me, she's a new client. My ex husband worked all the time and she has children. And so part of their reason for separating is they didn't have agreement on the time that was necessary in investing in the family and raising the children.
Right.
And so if she's going to be single anyway inside of this marriage, I might as well be single and not live with somebody that I hardly see. And so that's really important as well in the romantic space, is you kind of want to understand what's their lifestyle. Are they up at 5 a.m. every morning hitting the gym, and you are like you have shift work and you're sleeping until 8? Like, these are the nuances that people really should be mindful of when they're entering romantic partnerships and professional. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think I'm trying to relate it back to my own wife and how we look at things. I mean, one of the things that comes up for us is that, before we got married, we asked all the questions about, kids and where we live and lifestyle. We talked about those things because it was important to understand exactly where her head's at and where I was at. And one of the things we found in the process was, number one, we had very, very similar and interconnected values. Is the first thing we realized. And number two, we had very similar visions for where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do. We both love living downtown Toronto. We love big city living. We love diversity. I think the only place in which my wife and I really clash is the extroversion versus introversion piece. Whereas I like to have a big Oscar party or a big, holiday party, birthday party. Our 20th anniversary actually is we're having our 20th anniversary in 3 days. It's on the 2nd. And I
Wow,
I
so
know.
great. Good.
And,
Well, you have a powerful partnership, Bobby.
yeah,
You and
yeah,
your
but
wife,
what's interesting is the way she
wonderful.
likes to celebrate is different than the way that I like to celebrate, right? So I'm always mindful of that. And my birthday is the following week, and so I like big parties, and she likes small parties. So we have to be mindful of that because there are going to be differences, right? There's going to be differences between every partner, whether it's romantic or whether it's a professional partnership.
Do we have any questions
We
or
do.
comments from the
We
audience?
do.
Okay, let's go.
So comments. Angelique says, my past partner read the 4-hour work week and decided she was going to do that regardless of our agreement and goals. Okay, so that's I got to deal with that. And then Sarah asked the question: how do you both parties expect the partnership to evolve with each milestone?
Say that. Okay, so let's deal with the first one. What was the question?
Well, the first one's just a comment. She was talking about
Okay.
the second one's the question. How do
Okay.
you both parties expect the partnership to evolve with each milestone? So I think Sarah's suggesting a question that you might want to ask. How are
Ah,
we going to evolve with each milestone? What do you think about that?
I mean, I think it's great. I think it's great if you're checking in, and seeing where you're at with hitting milestones, and maybe that milestone timeline um isn't at the maybe it's sooner than you expected or later than you expected. So I think the idea of having a conversation post milestone, whether it is a celebration, whether it is if you hit a milestone, I'm assuming you're hitting revenue targets. Like, are you changing how you want to allocate funds? If you hit
Right.
a milestone super early, like, oh my gosh, maybe we need to rethink our plan. Because you know what I find, a lot of entrepreneurs who grow really fast, they didn't anticipate the success, and they didn't anticipate, they didn't know what to do with the money, or they're now in a new tax bracket. More money, more problems, right?
Right.
So I think it's really, really important that when you hit a milestone, you're always checking in, and you want to make sure you're still aligned. And communication, that was my next point I wanted to say, is
Sure.
what are your communication styles? For example,
Uh-huh.
Bobby, I'm a text girl. Like, my close friends, my moderators on Clubhouse, hey Credit, she's sitting on my stage, so thank you. She can direct text me right now. I won't read it because I got 17 machines going on over here, but like, she can text me, right? I have people who are on Clubhouse that are new to Clubhouse that think the Clubhouse message inbox is where people answer, but the truth is, people on Clubhouse message on Instagram, or at least the OGs, right? Before we had Instagram message, direct messaging on Clubhouse, we would message on Instagram. So it's the same thing. Do you prefer to get on the phone? Do you like email? Are you using WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, Instagram Messenger? It is insane. People message me, Bobby, on Twitter as if I know that there's a message box on Twitter, and I don't use Twitter inbox. LinkedIn is something that I was terrible at, by the way, but now I'm going to be much better. So my LinkedIn inbox was probably the seventh inbox that I checked. It was not my primary inbox. My primary inbox is my email. The next thing I check is my text. The next thing I check is my WhatsApp group. The next, like, I literally have this crazy order of checking, and the final thing I check
Yeah.
is my chat bot, my mobile monkey chat bot that stores Facebook messages, Instagram messages. It's insane.
Now that's a great partnership, a partnership with technology, right? So
Yes,
you
I
take an
love
app
that.
or a technology. I mean, when you want to partner with a technology or a software or something like that, I mean, what's the question to ask them? I think
Well,
the big question we ask is, how are you going to help me? That's what I want to know.
yes. Well, it's so funny because you might be a fan of AWeber and I might be a fan of Constant Contact.
Sure.
And then a third partner comes in and says, screw all that, we're doing Infusionsoft. But you and I may not want to spend the tech on Infusionsoft, right? I also use Mobile Monkey as my chat box, but John Lee uses, oh gosh, I should know it every day, but he has a different chat bot, right? And by the way, you use Restream, I might use StreamYard. So in
Sure.
those kinds of cases, it's like, which one are we going to use? Are you going to use mine? Are we going to use yours? And how much of a learning curve is this going to be? Because if we're going to use your tech, you're going to need to manage it because I don't know how to use it, as an example, right? So I think it's so important to do that. And finally, because I got Credit Ninja on the stage on Clubhouse, let's talk about credit. Maybe we don't talk necessarily about credit scores, but like, is your partner a spender? Are they risk averse? Are
Right.
they somebody that you're going to come back to the office and it's been completely remodeled, right? And you're like, holy crap, you're seeing the bill, it's $10,000 dinners. Like, you have to make sure that you are aligned in how you're going to allocate funds, and also who's bringing what to the table. Have you had to have those conversations?
Oh, all the time. I think and that leads to actually another thing that I want to talk about. Having understanding what our assets are, what we bring to the table, what do we want to do. I think those are really important. And I also want to mention this is the part. This is like our powerful partnerships conversation. We're actually doing this live stream across Twitter, Facebook as well, but LinkedIn's the main thing. We're also having it's a Clubhouse room. So if you want to go to the Clubhouse room, Carmelia, if you could actually share the link to the Clubhouse room in the LinkedIn chat. So go to LinkedIn and put in the chat. That way people can see it.
I can do that. Hold
Because
on.
I see
I
Lisa
can do
or
that.
Lisa Martin saying, I'm heading to Clubhouse because she's loving this conversation. Great. I'm actually not on Clubhouse, but as soon as this live stream's over, I'm going to go to Clubhouse and I'm going to be on that call too. See, that's how we're doing this. It's kind of exciting.
Got
But
it.
but there
Okay.
are some questions though. So one of the
Sure.
questions is by Angelique. What are the red flags most people miss in the beginning of developing a partnership? So what are the red flags? Well, I mean, the to me the big thing that people don't really think about is like in the moment, you get kind of excited, but in the longer term, your styles and the way you work and the way you communicate, we don't really know sometimes in the beginning, and that can really sometimes throw people off. And I think that can be a bit of a mess. The other thing that I want to kind of get into is I'll share an example of a failed partnership where we had some conflict. And the conflict was we didn't have a clear idea of the intellectual property piece. Who owns what? What does this mean?
Oh,
And
that's
so,
so
so
important.
yeah, so what happened was we were doing like corporate training. And so what happened was at a certain point, I decided I was talking to a client and then I pitched one of his things that he was doing. I was like, hey, this is you can bring him in, and that's fantastic. And so I went to him and said, hey, I was talking to these people, they want to bring you in. You want to go do this? And I'll just take my referral fee. And which we had agreed upon. We'd agreed upon a referral fee. Like if we were going to do it together, that was fine. But if he was going to do it by himself, I would take a cut and a smaller
Yeah,
cut.
yeah, yeah, for
And
sure.
so, but then he got upset. He was like, I can't believe you're talking about my stuff to other clients. And I was like, you know what? Come on over. Let's talk in person. And it was a huge disconnect because I was like, I'm selling you. I'm promoting. I just made you money. I don't understand what the issue is. Like, if you want to talk about my TEDx stuff or my whatever, like,
But you know
please
what? That
do.
just goes to show you had no, like, you made an assumption. I get it. I'm
Yeah,
on
it was
board that you made
confusing.
this total assumption that you could sell his stuff, and I don't know why he'd be upset, but like, it just goes like, to each their own. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he was uncomfortable. So I said, fine, I'll never do it again. You're welcome to continue to pitch me if you want. I think it's a missed opportunity because you made that money. Good for you. Like, do you not want
Right.
that? But
Yeah.
that's okay. I mean, again, being clear on intellectual property and how you sell that stuff, I think goes.
Pardon me.
Bless you. Bless
Yeah,
you.
that's so important because when you do work with somebody, there are assets that
Right.
are there. We're doing this collaboration. It's on both. I mean, you're hosting it. It's on both of our live streams. I'm promoting it on my channels, but I think you want to work with somebody, or like the red flag there is working with somebody that is, use the word aligned, right? Like you're aligned, you're on the same vibe. For my holistic people here, you've got that same kind of energy. And I think you want to understand how they handle and manage conflict. What is their conflict resolution style? Well, how do they behave when they get upset? It's like a relationship.
Yeah.
The four horsemen. I gotta Google that, but it's John Gottman's four horsemen: contempt, resentment, criticism. These are things that
Ah.
destroy relationships in the long run. So when you and I think that pertains to partnership.
And,
I'm gonna
and let me go back to ask you again, like what are some red flags, like when you're entering a partnership? What are some red flags you might see? I'm curious about that.
Oh, red flags.
Yeah.
When somebody is inconsistent with,
Oh,
they say something and they don't follow through.
yeah.
With the exception of, and I'm going to say, like, sometimes when someone's busy or it's an
Sure.
honest mistake, during COVID and pandemic, I'm homeschooling. I'm a cook. I'm a chef. I'm a babysitter. I'm a shopper. Like we're doing everything. And so you want to just really be mindful of those kinds of things. But I'm not nitpicking on the little stuff. It's like really the important stuff. They're missing deadlines for things. Or again, it's a different work ethic or style. If you're constantly having to persuade or to convince your partner that your way is the better way, you may just find yourself in this constant struggle with this person.
Right.
And you got to ask yourself whether you've got the emotional resilience and emotional strength to carry that kind of a partnership, right?
Yeah.
So back to the four horsemen, a red flag: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling or silencing. I think that's
Right.
what they. So same thing, right? Like if you are in business with your business partner, because guess what? A lot of business partners become friends. And so I think you have to always agree to maintain a professional relationship and put that friendship aside. You would never stonewall or not return your business partner's call. I don't care how upset you are, unless there was something that, well, now you need legal, or there was something that was completely grossly inappropriate, and you don't, there's just things, we have our days, right? But
Yeah.
I think it's so important that you maintain that communication. So that would be a red flag for me. And then just when you're seeing real differences in how you want to spend money, I wouldn't even enter the partnership if I thought that we were going to have financial concerns. But red flags are saying one thing, putting on that best, filtered face, and then showing up with, "Oh God, I just got catfished," and you can get catfished in business. I think
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
who shows up as if they're completely accountable and reliable, and they're not, more times than they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we are doing this show every week, Mondays at 2 p.m. And the goal is to build that as presence. You can come here every single weekend. You'll always see us. We'll be here every Monday. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually transition you and invite you to come join us to further discussion on Clubhouse. Because Clubhouse and social audio, as you know, is something that I'm really passionate about. So are you. Because the power of democratized podcasting, giving people a voice, getting them on stage is so important to us. So right now you're commenting like Angelica's commenting, saying catfishing is a real thing in business. Most people are honest. So she's saying great stuff. But now we want to bring you guys over to our Clubhouse room so you can get on stage and talk with us and share your thoughts. We want to hear you as part of the conversation. So
Yeah,
any,
thank you.
any last thoughts before we head out of the video stream and go into the audio room?
I was just glitchy for a minute.
There you go.
No, just want to thank everybody who is here. Mark your calendar. We're going to be here every Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern, except maybe when we're traveling, but we'll keep the show there. We're going to pivot to an audio room. Right now, we're going to head on over to Clubhouse. Hi, Wisdomers. We also have people on Wisdom here at the same time. So thank them for that. I'll end the call on Wisdom. I appreciate your participation. So we'll end there. And then finally, for me, I just want to say part of my request and reasoning for joining Bobby on LinkedIn, which is the #1 professionals platform, is I want to have these conversations because I'm also looking to connect with singles, professional singles. So you can head on over to my website, carmeliaray.com, fill in a confidential application or send me a message. And of course, the way that I like to be thanked for my time is just give us a follow wherever we're at. I have a YouTube podcast, Better Love. All of that is in my Clubhouse bio. So come on over to Clubhouse, and now we can open up the floor to everyone else.
Wait. Last thing though, tell us something you want to that you're working on, right? So we're
Oh,
talking about that too.
what am I working on? I appreciate that. If you go on, here's something that's insanely crazy. I am also a top mentor. Bobby, you and I are mentors on a new platform. Maybe it's not a new platform, on a platform called mentor.cam.
Yeah.
And I do have a profile there. So it's mentor.cam/Carmelia. And I am offering a 4-week mastermind, 4 1-hour coaching sessions. And and every week there's a new topic. It starts Wednesday after Valentine's Day, 6 p.m. Eastern. And the sign up is only $30. I know it's only $30. You can go to mentor.cam to get it. You go to my social tap on my Instagram profile, Carmelia Ray. I am Carmelia Ray everywhere. So you can find me on every platform with my name, and you can sign up for $30, and you hit the book a video response and just send me a text message saying I want in on the coaching program. And that's it. That's awesome. What I'm offering right now. I got like a gajillion things, but that's what I'll say for the moment.
Yeah, me
what
too.
About you, Bobby?
I have a gajillion things too, but the big one that's coming up is I've been getting to the NFT space. And one of the things I've learned about NFTs is that it's very collaborative, it's a very community-based approach, and there's a lot of partnerships. I've had about 30 people approach me saying, hey, can we work together, or can we work, because I have a large following, and and I have creative stuff too, so they want to partner. But I've been forging partnerships. So I've already forged about 3 partnerships, and I'm pleased to announce that one of the partnerships is I'm going to be launching my first ever NFT. It's probably going to launch on Saturday this week. And in doing so, we're doing a Clubhouse room on Wednesday at 10 a.m. on NFT for newbies. And then we're doing another one on Saturday at 11 a.m. a Twitter space on NFTs, crypto, and the metaverse. And so on Saturday, we're going to launch this new NFT, which I'm really excited about, to collaborate with a designer and an artist and a production guy, and that's going to be really awesome. And it's also cause-based, so it's focused on a specific cause. We're going to focus on mental health, and so I'm really excited. Crazy. Yeah. So and that was all partnership. So make sure you check that out. I'll obviously be talking about it later on.
I posted the Clubhouse room in the comments. Thank you so much. Now I can tie my hair back, put on my sweats, and get on my voice. And yeah, it'll be great. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. See you on Clubhouse.
Bye.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.